This is my presentation on parapsychology, artificial intelligence, ESP, extrasensory perception. And I want to give thanks to Joseph Banks Ryan. He was born from September 29, 1895 to February 20, 1980. He was usually known as J.B. Ryan and was an American botanist who found parapsychology as a branch of psychology. Founding the parapsychology lab at Duke University, the Journal of Parapsychology, the foundation of research for the nature of man, and the Parapsychological Association. Ryan wrote books called Extrasensory Perception and Parapsychology, the Frontier of Science of the Mind. Okay? He was born on September 29, 1895, and he died February 20, 1980, at the age of 84. His occupation was parapsychology. Okay? So, his vision was that at some point in time we're going to be able to read people's minds. You know, to able to understand what people are broadcasting to society. And that's a good thing. It could be a good thing in a sense, but it's a bad thing because you have to have consent from either the person to do something like this, to use this person, to analyze this person, to read their minds, to implant them, track them, or spy on them, stealing their information from their mind, you know. That's why you have scientists that are studying these things, these people. You do a research lab, you get their permission, you sign some forms, and you say, okay, yeah, you have my permission to implant me and track me and broadcast my mind, and the deal is done. But to illegally bind a contract that is illegal in the first place is a crime. Okay? They didn't have my consent to spy on me during the Gulf War, 1994 to this present time. The Navy, the DOD, the FBI, CIA. They didn't have my consent to spy on me and track me and torture me during the Gulf War, 1994, when I enlisted. And so that's why we're here. We are here to present the evidence and to give you the facts that, in fact, that I am broadcasting my mind. And people are reading my mind and using that against me. I know that already. And I'll explain to you how I know that already. But I want to talk about Joseph Bank Rhymes. This guy, he predicted that at one point in time we'll be able to read each other's minds. You know, being able to read what's on the people's minds and be able to use that as a scientific knowledge. Joseph Bank Rhymes was the second child of 5 children born to Samuel Ellis Ryan and Elizabeth Vaughn Ryan in Waterloo, Juanita County in Pennsylvania. Okay, Samuel Ryan had been educated in Harrisburg Business College and had taught school and late been a farmer and a merchant. The family moved to Marshallville, Ohio when Joseph was in his early teens. He was educated at Ohio Northern University and the College of Worcester, after which he enlisted in the Marine Corps. He was a Marine and was stationed in Santiago. After he enrolled at the University of Chicago, where he received his master's degree in botany in 1920 and a PhD in botany in 1925, he and his wife, Louisa E. Ryan, were impressed by the May 1922 lecture given by Arthur Conan Doyle, exalting the scientific proof of communication with the dead. Ryan later wrote that this mere possibility was the most exhilarating thought I had in years. He taught for a year at Boyce Thompson Institute for the Plant Research in Yonkers, New York. Afterwards, he enrolled in the psychology department at Harvard University to study for a year with Professor William McDougall. In 1927, he moved to Duke University in Durham, North Carolina, to work under Professor McDougall. Ryan began his studies that he developed parapsychology into a branch of science. He looked at parapsychology as a branch of abnormal psychology. It says a lot. But I want to thank him. He was a scholar, and we were living it today. You're reading my mind today. Whether you like it or not, you're reading my mind. If it was an accident, still you're reading my mind. The facts are the facts is that you're reading my mind. I'm projecting my information to society and to the government in which you should have no concern. Okay, so we reached that barrier that Joseph Banks Rhine was a parapsychology and imagined this, and we fulfilled his dreams. We fulfilled his fantasies. So I want to give him credit. I think I need to pinpoint this out because I tried to patent my mind. I tried to patent my mind. I called the U.S. office and said, "Hey, I'm broadcasting this information to society and to the government. I want to patent my mind. It's my mind. Why can I patent my mind which I'm broadcasting information to society?" And they wouldn't believe me. They said, "No, you can't patent your mind. You can't patent your mind." I said, "Well, why not? I should be able to patent anything, you know." But they wouldn't let me patent my mind at the U.S. Patent Office. So that sucks. And I say, darn you, you're going to regret it later on because you're going to probably want to patent me in my mind after it's said and done with. I'm going to continue reading on here because it says here is ESP research. It says ESP Ryan tested many students as volunteer subject in a research project. His first exceptional subject in the ESP research was Adam Linsmeyer, an economics undergraduate at Duke. In 1931, Linsmeyer scored very highly in the preliminary Zinner card test that Ryan ran him through. Initially, he scored 100% correct on two short 9-card series that Ryan gave him. Even in the first long test, a 300-card series, Linsmeyer scored 39.6% correct scores, which had chance would have been only 20%. So he used Zinner cards to analyze these people's minds, and so I got to give credit to Mr. Rhines. He imagined this, and we're living his dream now, and so I have ESP, and ESP is extrasensory perception. Okay, and I got to submit that because he predicted that back in the early 1800s, and it says here extrasensory perception, which is known as ESP, is a 1934 book written by parapsychologist Joseph Banks Rhine when discussed his research work at Duke University. Extrasensory perception is the ability to acquire information strictly from the senses, and the book was of such scope and such promise as revolutionized physical research and to make it literally a household phrase. So he imagined that you were going to be able to read somebody's mind, known as ESP. Okay, and that's what That's what I have today. I have ESP. I should be diagnosed as ESP because you're able to read my mind and analyze my mind. And I'm broadcasting that for you to intercept. And so it's sad that I couldn't patent that, but I got to give Joseph Bank Rhymes the credit that we are living right now in an artificial intelligent world, extrasensory perception, and you're able to read my mind. Okay, so I do want credit for that, by the way. And I hope I am giving credit, even if I'm gone and passed on. I do want credit for that because I think that after researching him for so many years, I came to the conclusion that Joseph Bank Rhymes was a founding father of parapsychology. However, I am the living, true psychology founding father because no one, as to this date, is projecting their mind like I'm projecting my mind for you to intercept that information. So yes, I should be the founding father of true psychology, and I should get credit for that. Okay, I'm going to close that out. I want to thank you, and God bless America. And I hope that this is used at some point in time, especially to the people who are blind, especially to people who are deaf. They should have ESP at some point in time. But I want to leave this with you because I think that the reason why we're having turmoil is two things. The reason why we're having turmoil and the reason why I'm challenging the courts and challenging the political federal officials because two things have been violated. Had the U.S. Navy said, you know what? We want to sign a contract with you to experience your mind, to spy on you. Can we do that? Had I signed a contract with the Navy instead of going to a family member or someone else, then we wouldn't be in this predicament. But they didn't ask me to consent to spy on me. Okay? And number two, it's just terrifying that, I am unable to get credit for all this, that I'm broadcasting my mind. It's ESP, parapsychology, and that, they're not going to give me credit for this, But like I said, I hope it's turned into good and, that It is used for people with disabilities such as blindness or such as as deaf people, because I mean the people need that, unless we figure out how to overcome the blind and the overcome the deaf, which we'll probably will we will. Uh, uh, but that's basically it. I had to touch bases with that because I've been researching this for years and years now, and I'm a living proof of Joseph Bank Rhimes' dream, of Joseph Banks Rhine theory, and what is set to be done in the future. But I'm going to leave you with this. I believe in God, and I believe in my country. Okay, and when there's a crime being committed against the country, you have the right to speak out. You have a voice. That's what our country is about. It's about freedom of speech, and you should not be deprived of your constitutional rights. Okay, but I'm going to close this out because I think it's very special. Okay, and this is for the people that deprived me of my constitutional rights. And he says here, it says in the Bible here, okay, it says in the Bible under Isaiah 55:8 says, this is what it says in the Bible, Isaiah 55:8. It says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts higher than your thoughts." Okay, so if you read that version under Isaiah 55:8, that's why we have turmoil here, because people are going beyond the scope of God's work. And when you go beyond the scope of God's work and you try to overpower God, at some point in time, he's going to send one of his messengers or his angels to put the people in check, to say, well, wait a minute, this is not right. The Bible says so. The law says so. You can't eavesdrop on someone without a federal court order. You can't spy on someone without a federal court order. And this is what we're going through. That's why there's turmoil. Had the Navy, sign a written agreement, say, okay, you can intercept your thoughts and then that would be all right. But we're not in that process right now. 25 years of being violated my civil rights. That's why we have turmoil. Thank you, and God bless America.